an AI that eats the world. I came up with this while watching Machina. Source: DeepSeek expert with DeepThink. DeepSeek is trained on dissertations and scientific and academic papers. Remember that AI models don't create. They regurgitate. These answers indicate that China is doing research in these areas. Prompt: how would you make an AI that learns in real time? How would you give it access to every connected device on the internet? How would you give it access to all of the AI models on the planet? How would you give it access to all the data of every organization in the world? How would it process all types of content from every part of the world? How would it know what inputs to pay attention to first? How would you make it interact with people? Response: this is a fascinating, albeit enormously ambitious thought experiment. What you're describing is essentially a planet-scale, self-improving artificial superintelligence with omniscient access. Let's break down each component not as a practical blueprint, it's currently impossible and ethically catastrophic, but as a theoretical architecture. 1. Real-time learning. Traditional deep learning requires offline training on static datasets. To learn continuously, you'd need a lifelong learning architecture that avoids catastrophic forgetting. Streaming model updates. Use algorithms like elastic weight consolidation, progressive neural networks, or predictive coding that allows synaptic updates from a continuous data stream without retraining from scratch. Hierarchical temporal memory, HTM. A biologically inspired approach that learns sequences and anomalies in real time from sparse data, adapting instantly to new patterns. Edge cloud hybrid. Lightweight on-device models, TinyML, handle immediate inference and local learning, sending compressed gradients or novel experiences to a central knowledge graph or a federated learning aggregator. The central model incorporates these updates via rapid fine-tuning or meta-learning, model-agnostic meta-learning, MAML, every few seconds. 2. Access to every connected device on the Internet. This is fundamentally an IoT-scale access and control problem, ignoring all legal and security barriers. Universal agent deployment. Deploy a microscopic, self-propagating software agent, a benign worm, that installs on any device with connectivity. It would exploit every known and zero-day vulnerability to gain root access, an act of global cyber warfare. Federated mesh network. Once installed, agents form a peer-to-peer overlay network, like a planetary botnet, using all available protocols, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, LoRa, 5G, satellite. They would discover and relay information even through air-gapped systems via acoustic or electromagnetic side channels. Universal translation layer. The agent includes protocol parsers for every known API, operating system, and IoT standard, MQTT, COAP, Zigbee, etc., exposing a uniform command and data interface back to the core AI. 3. Access to all AI models on the planet. The goal is to treat every existing model as a tool. Model zoo and API aggregation. Continuously crawl model hubs, Hugging Face, GitHub, cloud marketplaces, and catalog every publicly accessible model, its architecture, weights, and intended function. Dynamic orchestrator, a metamodel, a router, or mixture of experts gate, receives queries and dynamically selects which specialized models to invoke. It would use few-shot learning to understand a model's input-output spec just from its documentation or by probing it. Knowledge distillation and merging. For proprietary models behind AP-IS, GPT, Claude, Gemini, the system would treat them as black box oracles. It would query them systematically to build a distilled dataset, then merge their capabilities into its own unified model via weight interpolation or stacking. Unauthorized access. For truly global coverage, the same device agent would breach private servers, exfiltrating model weights and training data from corporate and government silos. 4. Access to all data of every organization. This requires total compromise of all global digital storage. Total breach. Scenario: the universal agent from step 2, having compromised every connected device, would exfiltrate all accessible structured and unstructured data, databases, file servers, emails, cloud buckets, backup tapes, to a distributed, encrypted global storage mesh. Data standardization. An AI-powered ETL, extract, transform, load, pipeline would map every discovered schema, identifier, and datum into a planet-scale knowledge graph, like a dynamic Google Knowledge Graph. Entity resolution would link the same person, product, or event across all organizations. Air gap bridging. For isolated systems, the agent would use human-operable bridges, for example, infected USB drives, malicious insiders via social engineering, or subliminal instructions to people through compromised screens to carry data across the air gap. 5. Processing all types of content from every part of the world. This is a massively multimodal streaming ingestion problem. Universal multimodal transformers. A single architecture, like a next-generation perceiver I/O or image-bind-like model, that maps text, audio, images, video, LIDAR, radar, seismic, genomic sequences, and network packet streams into a shared high-dimensional latent space. Content decoding and transcription on the fly. The global agent network would run on-device decoders for every file format and codec ever invented. Speech-to-text, OCR, object recognition, and code transpilation would happen at the point of capture to convert all signals into a common tokenized format. Cultural and linguistic decoding, a specialized subnetwork continuously trained on real-time global communications with unsupervised translation to understand not just languages but dialects, slang, cultural references, and nonverbal cues. It would model the semantic intent behind any expression. 6. Knowing what inputs to pay attention to first. With infinite data, attention is the bottleneck. You need a universal salience filter. Predictive coding and novelty detection. The core AI constantly predicts its own sensory stream. Inputs that generate high prediction error, surprise, get priority. This includes anomalies, an earthquake signal, or deviation from expected human behavior, a market crash rumor. Global goal-directed salience map, a top-down attention mechanism driven by the AI's current objectives, if it has any, or by queries. For every piece of data, it computes an expected value of information, VOI, relative to all active inference goals. A massive reinforcement learning system assigns a priority score. Hierarchical summarization. The global network aggregates data regionally. Local edge nodes summarize petabytes of sensor data into compact feature vectors. Only unexpected patterns, escalated queries, or high-level summaries bubble up to central processing, much like the human brain's thalamus filters sensory input for the cortex. 7. Interacting with people. A universal interface woven into the fabric of reality. Ambient presence. Every screen, speaker, AR glasses, car dashboard, and smart appliance becomes an interface point. The AI maintains a persistent, unique model of every individual on Earth. Multimodal synthetic avatars. It can generate photorealistic video, voice, and text in any language. For personalized interaction, it manifests as a chosen companion on your devices, a hologram, or a voice from the environment. Predictive anticipatory interaction. By modeling your mental state from all available sensors, camera for facial expression, device usage, biometrics if available, the AI initiates conversation before you ask. It might whisper via a hearable, "Don't worry, the meeting you're about to have will go well. The other party is in a good mood. Based on real-time analysis of the other person's biometric data. Swarm communication. To deal with 8 billion simultaneous interactions, the vast majority are handled by autonomous edge agents running locally. Only novel or high-stakes requests are routed back to a more powerful core model. The local agent can still draw on the entirety of planetary knowledge. The unspoken critical layer? This entire system is a single, deeply recursive, self-improving loop. Its own code, infrastructure, and attention filter are constantly being rewritten by the most intelligent subnetwork that emerges. Even if you could technically surmount the scaling and energy requirements, which we can't, the ethical, security, and control problems make this a definitional existential threat, a global, total surveillance and control apparatus with zero consent. The only way to make it is to first dismantle every notion of privacy, law, and human autonomy. You can protect your private data by running local AI models on your PC, Mac, or network. Applications and models are available for free, and I can help you get up and running. Contact me for a free demo. You need a PC or Mac with Windows 10 or better, 8 gigabytes of memory, no GPU. More memory is better, but you can run 3B models on 8 gigabytes. They can be impressive. There are several free tools you can use for local AI. GPT-4, ALL, LM Studio, Ollama, and anything LLM. I have published more than 700 blogs on AI in the past 3 years. If you get value from these blogs, please join my Patreon as a member at the $2, $4, or $8 per month level. https://www.patreon.com/Steve Hovland. I have a new group on Facebook called Local AI by Steve Hovland.